Klanapan or whatever his name is. He has a sword in his arm. So like shoots out a sword and immediately it just gets chopped off.
That was his one weapon that he threatened, that he kind of peacocked around with throughout the movie, right? To show that he means business, and he gets to hell and it gets chopped off instantaneously.
Instantly. Literally, like within 2 seconds of him being there, it's gone.
I can't help thinking, somewhere in the universe, there has to be something better than man. Has to be. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Ascension to 10.
Here we are, man.
We're back.
We're back. We're tired, but we're back.
Oh, yeah, we'll go into why we're tired in a minute.
Yeah.
The boys have been working hard over here.
No before pictures this time though. That's so save that.
Although I may have been the one to take a picture out because we're on a roll here, but
yeah, we are. We're cooking. But yeah.
Should we just?
Well, do you want to talk about that first?
Yeah, I might as well. We're going to go out of order of Spenny's list. This is episode 3 with the list.
It's fine. Started it. So
yes, the competition that we introduced last week. And by introduced, it was kind of a random thing that we started talking about, and then didn't even make any rules or goals or
no. We're supposed to talk about what the ultimate goal was after 10 weeks. I didn't think of any.
Yeah, I haven't thought of it yet. So I'm too busy working out.
Going well.
So as a reminder, the competition is Spenny and I are going to try and we want our faces to not be fat. I think that's
fat face challenge.
That is goal number 1, I think. And I don't know if it's achievable or not. But the idea is that was episode 16 that we talked about. And we decided as an arbitrary number that episode 26 is going to do a 10-week challenge. We're going to have a weigh-in of sorts and see. I don't even know if there's going to be a winner or. Well, we do have a competition going, an active competition through our Apple Watches. And so you want to talk about how that's going this week?
Yeah, sure. So, last time we talked about like, how do you get 600 points? Like it seems impossible. And so every day this week, we've literally just been working out like crazy to get 600 points, which I think we both calculated we're working out like 3 hours a day.
It's I just looked at my phone.
I'm so tired.
It's 2.5 to 3 hours every single day to get these stupid points. And
because we both know we're going to go for the 600 because the other one is going to win otherwise.
It started Monday. So as a reminder, we set up a challenge last week, and I obliterated Spenny through a couple of factors, right? Our stats were different, and so I was artificially achieved these 600 points with less work. But then Spenny kind of dogged it a couple of days because sick family members and stuff. and so I was able to blow by him. And so, easy dub. It was just kind of a layup for me. I didn't even have to try. And so then we set up a fresh comp for this week. So this is week 2 of the competition. I guess week 1 of the hashtag competition, whatever, who cares?
Whatever it is.
And so right away on Monday it started, and then Spenny just goes for it, and then I'm going for it. We both hit 600 points. Tuesday, both hit 600. Wednesday, both hit 600. Thursday, both hit 600. Friday, you got me because you went to 600, and I didn't have time to do all this stuff. I think I got to 576. So so as long as you get 600 today and tomorrow, you're going to win this week. We'll see. But yeah,
this is how ridiculous it was though. Because yesterday, because I didn't want to work out at all.
Well, I thought you were gonna see. That's why I didn't do an actual workout. I just was walking around.
Yeah. I just walked. Yeah, I didn't work out.
No,
but then at the end of the day, hold on. At the end of the day, the kids are in the bathtub, and I'm fucking running up and down the stairs doing a HIIT workout to get my heart rate up so I can get to 600 points. Because I figured, I didn't know what you were doing, so I thought maybe you were gonna throw one in. Yeah, because I wasn't going to.
You sent me this text, and you're like, "Oh, I don't want to work out. I don't want to work out," and then I didn't want to work out. I was tired. We didn't take any breaks that week, and then it's not like we're used to this. You have to remember the whole point of this is because we think our faces are fat, and so thereby by definition we're out of shape, right?
Yeah.
So here we go. I'm doing 2 workouts every single day plus a bunch of walking and stuff, and Spenny's doing a run and a workout and a bunch of walking and stuff. So we're going from 0 to 100 with this.
Yeah.
We haven't taken any breaks, and yesterday I said that my right ankle felt like it has cancer because of all the stuff that we're doing to it. And so Spenny sent me this text Friday.
Hurt so bad.
Yeah, Spenny said, "Oh, I don't want to work out. Boo-hoo-hoo-hoo. I don't want to work out." And so I didn't want to either. And I thought maybe we're going to have this kind of unspoken truce to maybe, not go crazy. But then Spenny goes afterburner and puts in a workout and gets to 600. So
it was afterburner this time. So
no, I mean, fair enough. It's a competition. Yeah. You got to do what you got to do, right?
That's right. Well, tomorrow's the last one for the week, right?
For the week.
And then we're taking a couple of weeks off, so we're not murdering each other.
A couple weeks off.
We're not going to make it.
A couple weeks off of
competition,
the Apple competition. Yeah. We're still going to be putting in the work. So there's just going to be no scoreboard associated with it.
Right.
And to be full disclosure, I have never worked out this hard in my life. What is this even for? I don't know, but
nothing. No one sees it. It's just you and me. Anybody else that has the Apple Watch that sees our stats are probably like, "What the fuck is wrong with these guys?" It's like, what are they doing?
Yeah, getting back to the time element of this, though, we both work, right? This isn't like it's a full-time job.
This is a horrible week. As I said, we had our kids home sick because we had COVID in the house. So it was like kids were home working, then doing this workout, and it was like, when do I have time to do anything now? So
2 to 3 hours a day trying to get these arbitrary points.
Yeah, I would just take the kids for like a hour walk trying to get these stupid stats.
All right, kids. So it's the kids' problem to facilitate your thing.
We're going to the park, but we're taking the long way. It's going to take us 2.5 miles.
You're not going to have any time to play there once we get there because it's going to take all the time to get there and get back. But
nailed it.
So I do have to say, though, this is the hardest I've ever worked. I'm really tired, right? I'm really tired. But I not giving up. I don't see giving up in the immediate future because that's always what happens, right? As we discussed last time, I'll get some kind of fancy device, or I'll get a new pair of shoes or something, or whatever. I'll get motivated just enough to do something once, and then I'll quit. But something about this competition is fueling me.
Yeah,
so
I think it'll stick. I think.
So whether or not this is an entertaining segment of the podcast is yet to be decided or determined. Let us know.
Yeah, I mean, we did a small poll on our Instagram, and I gotta say, I
got blown out of the water. 4 people that voted.
Well, next time I'll put it on a reel or something. Yeah. We'll see what happens.
Yeah. Speaking of which, do you want to shout out? So last week we shouted out these numbers that we achieved and didn't know about. But since then, Spenny has been doing work on the socials. Do you want to talk about our recent success there?
Yeah. This week on Instagram, they have the reels, which is kind of the competition with TikTok videos and stuff. And we have been working on it, and we didn't know what we were doing, but I think we got lightning in a bottle or something, because we've had in 3 days. So we're recording this on Saturday, but Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, we've had over 17,600 views and
go
326 likes. So we're cooking.
Go.
Which I have no way to go off like what's good, but it sounds really good to us.
Those are
it's
by
pretty sweet.
far and away orders of magnitude larger numbers than we're accustomed to right now. So good job, Spenny.
Yeah, we don't have any stats to see if it. Yeah, yay! We don't have any stats to see if anyone converted to listening, but we'll get there.
And we should clarify the content is just this podcast, but Spenny clips it up and it's the video portion, and he puts some overlays and stuff on it, and and then we also you're adding those to the YouTube channel and YouTube Shorts, and so we do the YouTube Shorts now. That also is just destroying the actual YouTube videos in terms of numbers, but it's still the same channel, so it's good. Yeah, it's all good.
Oh, it works. Yeah, and Jad busts his butt on those videos. So if you guys ever watch them, they are long. So
it's just the full thing.
That's the one thing we've talked about, but it's the full thing. Yeah. But he does some sweet stuff, and it's really funny.
Thank you.
Yeah, man.
Well, let's see.
Nailed it.
Let's have we discussed? Let's see. Intro / welcome banter. Yeah. We did update
the next
on.
Yeah, we already did that. Check. We got 2 checks. Check. The other thing that we were going to talk about is the Joe Biden yesterday or 2 days ago was just reading the teleprompter like exactly what it says. So he said, repeat the line. And it just reminded me. He literally just said, repeat the line. He's supposed to emphasize with repeating the line. Instead, he just said, repeat the line. Anyways. But it reminded me of we were in student council, so we were in our school government in high school,
freshman through senior year, right?
Yeah. Yep. But student council, I'm not sure we really did anything. The only thing I remember, there's like 3 memories. One is we got to taste test the new foods
that we never got
that were coming out. That we never got the food.
Yep.
But got to try it. It was good.
Yep.
And the second one was we were looking for a new superintendent.
Yep.
And we met with all the superintendents. We met him at Pizza Ranch. We got free lunch.
Free Pizza Ranch.
We got to sit with him in a room and ask him a bunch of questions.
All
different candidates.
Yeah, all the candidates.
Yeah. We're like, oh, we love this guy. This guy is the one we want. He didn't get hired.
Yeah. To be clear, we had just graduated. So it was the summer after our senior year, and it didn't matter, right? We could have said anything; it wouldn't have mattered. I don't know why they did it, but I don't know why they shelled out for all that Pizza Ranch.
Yeah, it was a lot of Pizza Ranch.
That was so much Pizza Ranch
every time.
But we always got Pizza Ranch for other stuff too. Is some kind of basically parties we had for ourselves or something.
Yeah. Yep.
Because we didn't do anything as the student council. I think we plan prom or something. I don't know. There's a separate committee for that.
Yeah, we did. I think we did homecoming.
Okay.
Yeah, we bought balloons to put behind the chairs. That's what we did.
I mean,
that was our contribution.
We met
every week, every month.
I don't know, regularly enough for that time to go towards something, and it went towards nothing. The entire time. You
just put it on your college application to say I was in student council.
So nice segue here because So okay, great. we were in this. It was Spenny and I, and then 2 of our other really close friends, and then we knew everyone on the student council, but it was the 4 of us. Mm-hmm. And freshman year, you don't do much, right? You're just there, and so it's interesting. We were grandfathered in since then, so we were all elected as a vote to be on it.
I guess.
So we were all lucky enough to be on it together from an election. But then once you were on it, you just stayed on it. And then the leadership roles were decided through in-house elections. So the student council voted for the officers themselves.
Right.
And it was really only the seniors that were any kind of officer. You know, high school, I was very focused, and I was serious about pretty much everything. And for college applications and stuff, I made it clear that I wanted to be the president of the student council.
Yeah.
No one else gave a shit, right? No one else cared. Being on it was enough. And so when it came time to elect, what did I just say? Officers.
President.
One of our friends, Hubble, I put my name down on the ballot for president, and I said,
"You were the only one."
I was the only one, and I think because everybody knew that I wanted it, right? Yep. And keep in mind, this means nothing. We don't do anything in student council, right? So it's not like it was just for college applications, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And so I put my name on the ballot. No one else does it. And then Hubble says, well, I can't just let you win it. And so he puts his name on the ballot and everybody votes for him. So I wasn't the president. Hubble didn't want it.
You didn't get anything.
I didn't get anything. Right. I wasn't an officer at all.
That was the only one.
Golly.
It was just one of those funniest moments because I remember how mad you were because you looked at him like, "Are you serious?
Serious right now?
Like you don't even care. Like this is what I want."
Yeah. Man.
Yeah.
So
that was funny.
That was student council, but then there was separate class officers, right? And you were the class president of something.
I am.
Right?
Yep, I am the class president for our graduating class.
Which means, which basically your role was alumni relations or something, right?
Yeah.
Planning the 10 and 20 year anniversaries.
Yep. 10 year I ended up having to have other people help me because I was in Ireland. So I showed up, I got back the night before the party. So it was like, I can't really help with anything.
Yeah.
We'll do a better job on 20-year anniversary, but
so
there's nothing special on that. But I did have a bit of failure previously in elementary school. I wanted to be school treasurer. If you remember back then, the only thing you did for student council was set up a school store and sell erasers and reeds for wind instruments. But my
that little store, wasn't it the closet where they stored the garbage cans or something?
Yeah.
In the commons room.
It was just useless. But it was.
Oh man! Some teacher had to man it, right? Some teacher had to get forced to man the stupid
during
store selling erasers and stuff.
No idea.
But you sold the buttons, right? Or you didn't sell the buttons, but you handed out buttons.
Yeah, my mom got one of those button makers. So it's like you put a piece of paper and then it has the little metal part and then it has plastic that kind of grips onto it and locks it in. But we did, my slogan was use common sense, vote for Spence. Yep. And then on every button there was a penny. So
I still remember that clear as day. I mean, that I saw that
genius.
For a day or something, right?
Yeah.
I can still clearly picture all of that.
I also enjoyed when people would just rip off the cover of it and take the penny. That was always great. Just take take it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
that was just
good times.
The Biden thing. I don't know. I just connected with talking about our days in student government. Probably our government days are probably over. So
that's
probably it.
That's fine. I do have to say though that I don't know if maybe Hubble did this to me in retaliation for years of student council shenanigans, but every single time that we would go to the pizza ranch to get free food, he would, I don't know, walk away to go to the bathroom or something, and we would secretly dump a bottle of Tabasco sauce or something on his plate. Yep. And so, because at the time, and maybe still now, but he was very vocal about how he didn't tolerate spicy foods. And so we basically just ruin every single every single time we went there by just secretly just bombing his food with hot sauce. And so maybe it was payback for that, but
yeah, I could have been. Well, either way, golly. It was funny. So
it's such a dick move.
And you never forget it.
No. Never forgave him either.
Yeah, I know. That's awesome.
Okay, you got a typical day queued up, but from someone else, right?
Yeah, we actually received a typical day story. It actually comes from my dad, which I don't know. I think it's pretty funny. It's not fully resolved yet, but you'll get the idea. But he sent this in saying his mom, my grandma, just recently moved back to where we live, and she's been on vacation. And he was going to take her car in to get the oil change. So he went to a Subaru dealership, and they said, "Walk-ins welcome." He's like, "Okay, well, I didn't make an appointment, so I'll just drive in." And they're like, "Well, do you have an appointment?" And he's like, "No." It said you didn't need one. And they're like, "Well, we're not going to be able to get you until next week." And he's like, "Well, she comes back next week, so I'm trying to get this done today." So he goes to Valvoline to get the oil changed, and just sits there and waits 45 minutes or whatever, gets the car, puts the car into drive, and hears this clunk, and drives it out, and he's like, "This does not sound right." So he drives up the block, turns around, comes back in. He's like, "This doesn't sound right. Something's wrong. Can you guys check it out?" And they get under, and it turns out that they drained the transmission fluid and overfilled the oil. So he has no transmission fluid when you're driving, which you need. It's essential. So they remedied that. Obviously got new oil and new transmission fluid, drained the correct one. He took it out again, and it made that same clunk. And he stopped like right when he was there. And he tried to put it in reverse, and then the car just started rolling forward. He's like, "Uh-oh, this isn't good."
This was at the Valvoline?
Yeah. Okay. So they ended up having to take the car to the dealership that he was
wanted to go.
Oil change at. And they're supposed to put in a new transmission, but he was like, "Oh man, I got a typical day story for you."
Yikes.
That was that. So it's supposed to be put in next week, so we'll see.
Yikes.
But if anybody has a typical day story that you want to write to us about, we're happy to tell it.
Please. That's a good one.
Pretty funny. Because we have typical days, but we can't always fill them every episode. So
well, that was a good one.
Yeah.
It's kind of, it's just kind of a nice little irony there that the mechanics break his car
back to where it was originally supposed to go.
Isn't transmission fluid pink?
I don't. Maybe
it's not. It doesn't look like oil.
It's not the same color. Yeah.
I think oil is pretty obvious. Right?
Yeah.
Yikes.
Yeah. I don't. Yeah. It was yeeks. But, so hopefully it gets fixed.
Yeah. For your grand's sake. So I have one more very 2-millisecond story here. That's kind of it's not funny at all, but it's kind of cringy actually, if you depending on your cringe factor. But so I wear contacts a majority of the time. And if you don't know me personally, you may have picked up by now that I'm pretty OCD about a lot of stuff, and about being clean and what I touch and all that kind of stuff. Right. And since I started wearing contacts in the 7th grade, I've always been extremely particular about how I put my contacts in, how I take them out, how many times I wash my hands before and after, and all this stuff that goes into it. Right. And I've never had contacts that you go to sleep in. Right.
Sure.
But sometimes I'll fall asleep. while wearing contacts, right? A little nap or something. And so last night I fell asleep on the couch before going to bed, and I woke up and went to the bathroom to take my contacts out, and I was fishing around in my left eye and just couldn't find it. And so I've had it happen once where it will fold up and then go into the back of my eye, but that's pretty obvious, right? Because it's really uncomfortable. Right. It's really obvious if it's back there. And so I could not find it, and my vision is terrible. And so it's very obvious whether or not I have a contact in.
Right.
So I took my right contact out and double checked that I couldn't see anything. So my left contact is not in my eye, but that never resolved. And so I went to bed last night, just kind of perseverating on the fact that I don't know what happened to this contact. And I just like being complete in my life, right? In terms of knowing what I've done and what I haven't done. And so this mystery of this left contact is kind of bugging me.
Driving you nuts.
Yeah. I was able to go to sleep.
I had that same thing. I had that same problem, except my eye turned blew up
recently.
Closed.
Right?
Yeah. Same issue. I couldn't find it.
So
never did find it. So hopefully it probably just fell out when you're sleeping.
That's what I think.
Floor,
that's what I think. And I went downstairs this morning and looked around on the couch and around it to see if I could find this little contact or something. But that reminds me, though, of a story. This has actually happened in China. So the same China trip, one of my friends went to a bar club thing, and with a few other of my friends, but I stayed back at the hotel. So I am telling the story from what I remember being told. And he also wore contacts, and he said that during that night in this dance club in China, being in China doesn't matter to the story actually, but he lost a contact at some point in time while on the dance floor. And as he described it, he just started searching around on hands and knees on this dance floor in this bar to try and find his contact.
That's
but
lost cause,
then
man.
He said he found it and put it back in his eye.
Oh,
and that is so gross to me. It's overload of grossness for me.
That's nasty.
Golly.
The fact that he found it.
I know the fact that he found it is remarkable, but at the same time, for me, I wouldn't even bother looking, not because it would be a lost cause and the odds of finding it are so ridiculous, because I would under no circumstances put that back in my eye, right? Not if I
that's too
cleaned
far.
it or, had it in a cleaning solution for a week. I would never put that back in my eye. And so I wouldn't even touch it, right? It's just,
that just goes beyond. I mean, that goes beyond anything.
Yeah,
I can't even, contacts falling out and my hands are dirty because I'm outside or something. I'll put it back in, but it's still
so
not ideal.
Depending on
you
how
would throw up,
depending on how cringy that stuff is for you. I'm sorry, should have put I guess I did put a cringe warning, but So
that's really interesting. And when you say cringe, it reminds me of this movie.
Segue. Yeah. And we've blown through our list. We hit every single thing on the list here.
Yeah.
The only thing left is
talk about checking it off. We just knew.
Talk about this movie, Spawn.
we're talking about Spawn from 1997. Jordan and I both have the same kind of memory from this movie that we thought was cool. And it's Spawn riding this motorcycle. And Spawn is, I guess I should just tell kind of the backstory of it, and then we'll get into kind of those pieces. This was created by Todd McFarlane, and he is actually really well known in the comic book space. Spawn is the comic that he developed. Todd became famous because late 80s, early 90s, he was doing work with Marvel comic Spider-Man. So he was one of the artists on there, and he actually helped develop the character Venom. And then in 92, he started his own company called Iconic Comics, and he brought Spawn to life. And Spawn was this creature that he had developed, or character he had developed back when he was in high school, when he was 16. So he decided to go with it, and it actually ended up becoming one of the most successful independent kind of comics around. And it sold 1.7 million copies in the first issue, which is quite a bit. And then 5 years after he started the comic, they released this movie, Spawn.
Oh.
And yeah, so the comic side, I think there's a lot of people that really love Spawn, and I think a lot of them are disappointed in how the movie kind of portrayed, because there's a lot of additional elements I won't get into, but there's this whole just kind of episodic story that he kind of battles heaven and earth and all this other stuff in the comics, and this just barely touched any surface whatsoever about what Spawn is. So, but it got made 5 years after. They are making a new one. It's in the works.
Great.
And it's going to be, I think it's Jamie Foxx is going to be the Spawn character.
Okay.
We'll have to see how it works out. It can't be any worse than this one.
Yeah, that's not possible.
So, no.
Interesting. Did it do well? What are the numbies for this?
Yeah, budget was 40 million back in 97, box office 87. So today's numbers, there's about 72 million budget and then 160 box office.
Okay.
So it's all right.
Okay.
All things considered. I mean, it had the Spawn name, so I think there's a lot of people that were excited about that.
Interesting.
And then, 33 cast and then 383 crew on this one.
I don't remember. I guess this would have been one of the first comic book adaptation things, right? I don't know if X-Men would have came out by this point.
Yeah, I can't remember when X-Men was at 99.
Similar time frame for sure.
Yeah. One little interesting thing was they said originally the budget was supposed to be 20 million, and then they came back to make it 40, and they added a bunch of CGI. Man,
they should have kept that out.
They should have just kept it out. It was so bad. I mean, there's a scene where there's some characters. They added these like evil characters. One was the devil, Malabolgia, and then the Violator is this clown that turns into a big monster, but neither of them move their mouth to talk. I know. And like the whole premise of these comics was all these characters could talk, and like it was just like animatronic kind of looking things.
It was. I mean, so much effort went into making his Spawn suit be animated and go up his, cover his body and cover his head when he wanted his helmet or something. And you're telling me they couldn't animate a mouth moving?
Yeah.
I mean, what are we doing here? What is this?
Yeah. I don't know, man. It was a disappointment. And seeing this
at some
after
point,
being a kid.
The Malbolgia is just a coyote or something, a devil coyote that's 3,000 feet tall or something. And at some point, the mouth is just open, and the bottom jaw extends a football field in front of his top jaw. Yeah. It's insanity. It looks so stupid.
Yeah.
And it's unbelievable. And then all the demons that they animated were just Spawn. They didn't animate a single extra character. It was just a bunch of
Spawns.
Just Spawn.
Just a bunch of them.
And I don't know if that makes sense. Maybe that makes sense. Who cares? It doesn't really matter. But the point is zero effort. So $20 million went towards that. You're saying?
Yeah. Basically, I mean that's what it boiled down to. Here, let me read the synopsis, and then I'll get you some more facts on this, or dunkable facts. An elite mercenary is set up and killed by the head of his covert government agency while on mission in North Korea. He arrives in hell, and Malebolgia, the devil, offers him the ultimate power if he returns to lead the devil's army. He becomes Spawn and is instantly pestered by a farting clown named the Violator. Spawn must learn to harness his power to defeat his enemies, including the Violator. He then has to decide whether he will use the new power for good by stopping the end of the world, or evil by carrying out the devil's plan.
Very nice.
I mean, that we haven't talked about it yet, but Violator, it's literally just a farting clown.
Yeah.
For an hour and a half.
Yeah.
I mean, one of the most annoying characters of all time.
I have to say, it must have been hell to be in that. It's John Leguizamo, or what, I can't say his name.
Yeah, John Leguizamo.
He did a pretty good job, I have to say.
No, he does. It's
portraying
just
that character was
annoying.
Good. It was the only good thing about this movie. But this fat suit or whatever he was in, it looked like he must have been. He was squatting every single scene he was in, right? To get super
the
low.
Violator's supposed to be 4 feet tall, so he had to squat.
That must have been
every
insane.
scene he was in. And there was a little story about it took so long to get the suit on. One time he had to go to the bathroom so bad he just peed through the suit because he couldn't get it off in time. And I was like, but just you imagine trying to just be squatted that whole time. I was this morning we have a sandbox that was under our deck, and we moved it out because it never dries and it's always wet. So I was shoveling and I was shoveling for an hour. And so I knew exactly how he felt because my back is just killing me after doing that stupid thing.
Yeah, it's he went for it. I mean, everything he says is stupid, but he does it in a way that's respectable, at least. Not his fault. The thing was dumb, but
yeah, that's fair. He does. Yeah. There's a scene, that scene where he does the maggots or
on the pizza,
the wax worms or whatever on the pizza. Yeah. He threw up after that.
Okay. Interesting.
They weren't real, but he still threw up.
Yeah. I mean, the whole point is he's a demon, right? And so he's disgusting in every single way. And he is disgusting, but it's also just dumb.
It is.
Okay. This opening is,
yeah, please.
Okay, so the opening scene before any credits roll or opening a title sequence is, it was just funny, right? Because it was the opening lines were it was like a Kenneth Copeland sermon, and it's this voiceover thing where it's like, "Fire shall be unleashed by Malebolgia, ripping through the souls of the unworthy sinners of this planet," and so it's a couple of things of that, and then it starts the title sequence. And this title sequence the animation was just this fire wormhole that lasted so long. And it was the most 2000s thing I've ever seen. That it has the same kind of 2000s energy as the original Triple X movie. And
Jed, it took 6 minutes and 9 seconds to finally get.
I knew it was going to be over 5 minutes because, and the annoying thing was that the 2000s thing is this whatever kind of music style it was back then, but it's like and then but the thing was, it seemed like it ended 4 times because it would be this epic. It just kept going and going and going, and it's just every single person that was on this movie seemed to be credited. And golly, nothing has happened at this point, almost 10 minutes into the movie, and it's just this stupid flame wormhole. And then then the action starts, and it's the main character, Simmons. He bursts into this air traffic control tower, and he's shooting up this place. And all he's doing is shooting pencils, it seems, because pencils and air traffic computers are just flying and stuff. And then there's 2 guards, and then he shoots a missile to shoot one guy. His objective is to kill one person. He shoots a missile that breaks into 4 missiles and blows up this airport. Yeah. And then he later gets pissed off when he finds out there weren't supposed to be any civilians here. And then his bosses were like, I don't know what to tell you, man. You did that. And it's just, I don't know.
There wasn't supposed to be civilians.
And then, so his boss, Simmons' boss, as Spenny said in the synopsis, is basically made his own deal with the devil to, I don't know, do stuff. I don't know, sinister stuff. And he's exploiting the talents of his top agent, Simmons. And so Simmons does his mission where he shoots up some pencils and a plane. Mm-hmm. And then the boss is sitting watching the news in his smoky office. And he says, Simmons is the best, man, because they're reporting on the carnage that happened. And he goes, Simmons is the best. And then the clown demon is in the shadows next to him, talking to him. And he's basically saying, good, because part of our plan is going to be killing Simmons, and we want Simmons for ourselves. And the next thing the boss says was, Simmons? What could you possibly want with Simmons?
Yeah.
What?
Simmons.
He just said that Simmons is the best at killing people. The demon says, I want Simmons. And he says, Simmons? What? Why would you want Simmons? Whatever. They betray him. He goes on this.
I mean, they go to North Korea to blow up these I think it's chemical tanks.
Simmons is told that there's a chemical or biological weapon or chemical weapon that needs to be shut down because he's part of the U.S. government, the secret branch of the U.S. government.
It's essentially the CIA, right?
And Simmons says he didn't know that there were civilians at this airport that he destroyed, right? It's an entire airport. And so he then says he wants out. And this is another, so just like the dialogue banter that I just talked about, whereas Simmons is the best killer on the planet, the demon says, I want him. And then the boss says, who? So then Simmons comes into the office and says, I didn't know there were any civilians there. I can't do this anymore. And that same boss says, son, this isn't something that you can just quit, walk away from. You've done stuff. And he says, no, I'm done. And he goes, okay, well, if you change your mind, let me know.
Yep. You just got one more mission, though.
Yeah, but just one more mission, and then you'll be good to go. Yeah. And he goes, oh, okay. Yeah. When do we leave? And then, so it's framed as Simmons infiltrating this North Korean highly secretive chemical weapons base. And it's this mini montage of him sneaking around. He kills one guard and then sneaks in. And then, surprise, his boss is also there in this spacesuit.
Yeah, he sees all the other people dead, too. There's other people that are dead. Yeah. And then he just waltzes into the chemical.
He waltzes in, and then he kills him and stuff. And it's just, he gets blown up, gets sent to hell.
He's blown up. They pour goo on him and blow it up. And,
here's a goo dispenser out of this one person's gun. And so he burns more, right, in the explosion. And there's this other character, this just typical henchman type character, but it's a henchwoman. And it's this woman that always dresses in leather jumpsuits, whatnot, and is very sinister and just a killer. Right?
They call her Priest.
During that, actually in the scene before where Simmons says, I want out, she walks up behind him in this office. So it's as an intimidation type thing. So he's the best killer on the planet, right? But then she walks up behind him as this extra killer or something.
Yeah.
But I don't know if you caught this or not, but she walks up behind him and has this smirk on her face and says, if you can't handle it, she just stops talking. Did you catch that?
Yeah. And you can't understand what she said it. Yeah. Let's see if we can find that clip and we'll put
we'll have to try to find it and we'll add it to the video. It's so like they couldn't do another take, right? They didn't recognize that.
I mean, to be fair, there was something from so Michael J. White was the main character, Spawn. They said the first cut of this film, it was really serious, character driven, much less effects. And then New Line Cinema came in and they allowed the director, Mark A.Z. DePay or something, more creative control, more action set pieces and like different sequences and stuff. And he said a lot of the times during the reshoot, he had no idea what was going on.
Well, that clearly shows in basically every aspect, every minute of runtime of that movie, that is apparent.
Yeah. Well, he had, I mean, the thing with Spawn, the thing that was, I don't know if it was funny or just kind of annoying, but like his voice, he never had, he's another character that kind of had the same kind of inflection on everything. Just
totally.
Like, what?
Because he just, he was just trying to speak low like that.
Mad. Like he's just constantly just that same tone, and it was just like, oh man.
Because if you bring your voice down to a limit, right? In his case, the lower limit, you have no range, right? If you want to maintain it, it's just flat. And so
yeah,
I don't know.
Just didn't help. I just didn't help the character. That's
no. So there's one thing I wanted to talk about. So the whole kind of story revolves around how this secret agency boss who made a deal with the devil, his plan is to release a pathogen upon the world, and if they don't recognize him as the new world leader or something, so he or somebody developed this highly effective virus that could destroy the whole planet, and he's the only one with the vaccine, and so he can release it at any point in time. Something had to deal with these. Yeah, for some reason, this chemical plant needed to explode in North Korea for some tangential reason that made no sense to that other plan, but so Heat 16 was this virus, and he said it is going to make Ebola look like a rash or something like that. Now they show an image, a computer image of this virus on this screen thing. It's a screen, tech screen thing. You only see it for a minute, but this is often the case for pathogen type virus type stuff. They showed an image of a bacteriophage. Now, I get it. Bacteriophages, so these are just viruses that infect bacteria. They look cool. They look like little spaceships, like little aliens, because they have this big head and this neck thing, and then what look like legs. And it's not a head, but it looks like a head with a long neck and then little tiny spider legs things. They're fascinating. The fact that we have things on this planet that look like that is amazing. And so it looks super sci-fi, right? And so why not use it? But the problem is they don't infect humans. They don't infect mammals or animals. They only infect bacteria. And so the idea that they're going to use this bacteriophage to wipe out the human race is kind of stupid, to be honest with you.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That's not to say that bacteriophages can't impact human health. And so the thing with that is it's kind of an indirect thing. So if you've heard of the microbiome or microbiota, that's all the bacterial cells in the human body that aid with digestion and immunity and all this kind of stuff. And it's actually by mass, human and most animals are more bacteria than they are eukaryotes or animal cells. And so part of that little mini microcosm is a microcosm of bacteriophages. So we do have bacteriophages that impact human health by virtue of impacting our microbiome health. And so it's not that out of the question to think that a bacteriophage could be engineered to mess with human health, because you just have to mess with the microbiome, and that would seriously screw up kind of everything about human health.
Sure.
But that point is clearly missed, right? They're saying we developed this virus to infect humans. Another cool kind of little factoid for you about bacteriophage is that, so there's debate in the scientific communities as to whether viruses
You'd only
are
get this on this podcast.
That's right. There's debate about whether viruses are alive or not. I don't think there's any debate about whether viruses are a form of life. That's for sure. Most viruses that we think about are obligate intracellular pathogens, so they can't really exist or do anything outside of a host cell. And they require host machinery and stuff, for lack of a better term, to replicate. So are they alive? Are they not alive? Are they kind of mini cells that, I don't know, is a cell alive? Probably.
Yeah.
Right? Who cares? It doesn't matter. But the point is, the bacteriophage in general, a form of a virus, is by far and away the most abundant form of life on the planet. And so this is actually in the introductory, I include this as just a, I don't know, catchy introductory little thing in my thesis dissertation, but because I think it's cool. There are estimated about 10 to the 31 bacteriophages on the planet. And
that's a lot.
That's a lot. And that's just bacteriophage. That doesn't include eukaryotic phages or anything else really. But at around 200 nanometers in length for each one of these bacteriophages, if you were to line them up head to tail, one by one, do you want to just take a guess as to how far that would stretch?
That's a lot. Let's see. Across the U.S. I don't know.
Across the U.S. Okay. So it's in meters anyways. It'd be 10 to the minus 7 to 200 million. So 200 times 10 to the minus 9. So it's 2 to the minus 7, or times 10 to the minus 7, times 10 to the 31. What that works out to is 200 million light years.
Oh, okay.
So forget the US, right? That's what, 3,000 miles or something?
Yeah. No, that's way over. That's exponential, man.
We're talking the diameter of our galaxy is something like, I don't know, 100,000 light years, give or take.
Yeah.
This is 200 million light years away.
Holy crap.
Just the bacteriophages on this planet would stretch out to. You can't see, right?
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's mind-blowing.
It's mind-blowing. It's pretty cool, right? I mean, it's kind of a cool factoid.
Yeah. I mean, I can't do big math that fast, especially when it's converting it to length.
But nobody can, right?
Right.
That concept is meaningless to humans because we don't operate in thought.
I know, but that
right.
That kind of, I mean, you telling me 10 to the 31, whatever.
Yeah.
Versus saying it's
200 million light years.
You're like, holy shit. Yeah,
keep in mind, this isn't 200 million miles. This is 200 million light years. This is how far light travels in the span of 200 million years, going the speed of light.
Wow.
So, yeah. So that's my little tangent on viruses that I think is inherently more interesting than the stupid movie.
Now, do vaccines normally come in blue water, or is that just toilet water in that?
Yeah, it's like chemical toilet water. Yeah, one tiny little vial of it is good for the whole planet, right?
For the whole planet.
Yeah.
Must have been Operation Warp Speed on that one, because
no, totally.
You know.
Yeah.
Well, I guess, yeah.
So,
where do we go to next on this? I mean,
I don't know. It's something like
Spawn comes back. It turns out he's been dead he went to hell for 5 years. He has decided that he's gonna, be the Spawn and fight for the army of the devil so he can get back, because he's trying to, get back to Earth.
Let's talk about the 5 years thing.
Yes.
He goes to hell for 5 years, apparently to burn in hell, right?
Apparently.
Okay.
Well, also his goo apparently has half-life of 5 years. So once the half-life wore off, then his suit came back, and then.
Okay. So the whole point was that they're going to use him as a demon to lead Malbosia's army against the gates of heaven, right?
Yes.
Something about the stupid threat of the virus is somehow standing in the way of that, or is the catalyst for which that can happen, or something. But then the boss dies anyways, and that was also the plan. So what the fuck was the stupid virus have to do with Spawn leading the armies of hell against heaven?
Well, I mean, the devil wanted to wipe out the humans so he could take over the world.
So then just have him do it, right? It doesn't make any sense. The point is something about they held Simmons in hell for 5 years and then sent him back to Earth with no memory of having been there or who he was, or he remembered who he was, right? It doesn't.
Yeah, well, that's the thing that doesn't make sense, because he's not supposed to remember who he is. Like that, the only outside of his name, that was the only thing he's supposed to remember. But then obviously he remembers everything.
And then I guess there was something about his best friend, then marrying and forming a family with his wife,
right? Yep.
To motivate his hatred, which would then make him a better general, grand marshal of hell.
Yep, make him more jealous.
I don't understand why he had to be in hell for 5 years. Because if he has no memory of it, he has no motivation to be.
Yeah.
What? Just I don't know. We're reading too much into it, but it just is so stupid that.
Talking about 5 years in hell is kind of like this throwaway, and then he comes back, and the wife has remarried, and they have a little daughter, and he shows up at their house for a birthday party, and the clown is there.
And the clown was there. And then the clown later goes up to the daughter and says something like, I remember you from the party. It was her party that he was there as a clown for. I don't know. Yeah. I think most of this movie is and then there's this archangel Gabriel or something to that effect of being the lone. This old guy from the Templars is
Cogliostro or something,
is the lone savior, bastion of goodness that exists on the planet, right? The only thing standing in the way.
He's been doing it for like 250 years. He died in like the 1760s or something, and he's been just chosen to live his life trying to, keep the demons at bay all this time
or something.
Finally, he just sees Spawn, and he's like, you know what? This guy should take over for me.
This literal demon from hell should be my replacement to protect heaven.
This should be my replacement. But this is the part so it's funny because that guy is trying to like help him. There's a part where like they're trying to teach him like how you use your suit, your armor and your face and all this stuff. And they literally just take a bottle, throw it in the air. He has some chains on his suit, and they shoot out and they crack it. And he's like, oh, looks like you're ready to go.
Yeah. It's the shortest, lamest training montage you've ever seen. It's okay. And then he frames it as, so he's playing into the devil's hand the whole time because he wants to get back with his wife. He wants to take revenge on those who took his wife away took him away from his wife. Right.
Yeah.
This osteoporosis guy or whatever his name is all, you got to forget about her. You're dead. Remember, you died. You're not Simmons anymore. You're Spawn. Let her go. That's only pain waiting for you.
Right.
You should learn how to use your suit, by the way. So let's hit the gym quick. And it was literally, it's not a training montage where they spend, a length of time and then an overlay of music. They do one bottle throw, and then that's his training. And then Spawn says, okay, I'm going to go get Wanda or whatever. And the angel says, it's the final test, or he's ready, after just telling him to let her go, to not go there, because that's playing in the devil's hand. And so then cue up what Spenny and I, as Spenny mentioned earlier, thought was cool in the trailer of him riding this motorcycle.
Sweet motorcycle. He steals it.
He steals a crotch rocket, and then his cape thing can form this protective orb around him. But it was framed as this super cool thing that he was going to go Mach 10 in, and he rides this motorcycle around a block. Some goo spills out of a truck, and he crashes. Yeah, and that's it. That's all that happens with this motorcycle.
Why was that so in our brains?
I don't know.
Something cool, because it was the shortest clip.
Yeah, the cape. It's actually the actual amount of time they spent on that clip in the trailer, which is seconds, is how long it lasted in the movie, right?
Yeah. But this motorcycle chase that we're talking about, it's like all of a sudden he's going to Wanda, but first he runs into the Violator driving some tanker truck, and he's on a crotch rocket.
Yeah. The clown just happens to get in front of him, right?
Yeah. But there's a scene where so the tanker is on the road, and then he veers off, and he's like going through the side spot area where there's like this chain link fence and just obstacles. So he's like weaving in and out. There's a scene where the truck accidentally actually hit that chain link fence, and it swings. It wasn't supposed to. That was actually the stuntman got hit with the the gate, and they just kept it in, and he kept going. God. But then, he becomes this sweet suit. The suit becomes this sweet motorcycle looking thing, and his eyes are on the top.
Yeah.
And then he just pours goo and he falls over.
Yeah, that's it.
That was it.
This is just after the training montage, right? Where the angel says he's ready.
Do with anything. Yeah.
So I don't know. That's pretty much it. They go to hell or something and fight the clown and Malboja or I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, the only next thing is the Violator actually becomes the Violator monster in one scene. Yeah. I think that's right before the training, actually.
Yeah, which is just kind of a hairy gecko thing that's 10 feet tall. It's so stupid.
Yeah, but they throw Spawn, and Spawn's like on spikes. His arms are stuck, and you can just see where his armpits are. The cutouts from the suit are, you can just see it, and it's just come on, that's let's at least try a little bit. But yeah, no, it rolls to he goes to they set him up to think that Wanda is trapped and all this other stuff. They set up fake Wanda with the Violator. He goes in there, and it looks like Wanda's been stabbed, and he lets I'm trying to think what happens. He lets everybody go, the wife or the husband and the daughter, and then all of a sudden the Violator comes back, and then he flies down to hell
or something with the angel. This is utter chaos. It's about the hell scenes are. We've already talked about how Malboja doesn't have a mouth that works, and it's just this 30,000-foot coyote thing monster.
Yeah,
it's about 10p, 3 frames per second. It's complete nonsense, and they didn't even try.
You have to remember this was made on Windows 95, so
it looks like it was made on a calculator or something. I don't know.
It's terrible. I mean, it's
utter chaos.
I feel like there was some game show or something in the 90s where kids used to throw these balls at a skeleton, and it's that same kind of thing. It was on
Legends of the Hidden Temple thing?
Not Legends of not Legends of the Hidden Temple, but it was on ABC or something. And it was this guy that would shoot. I think he shot balls out or something, but it was that same anyways, doesn't matter. It was terrible. But it was, the funny part is that Kalanapan or whatever his name is, he has a sword in his arm, So like his shoots out a sword, and immediately it just
gets chopped off. That was his one weapon that he threatened, that he kind of peacocked around with throughout the movie, right? To show that he means business. And he gets to hell and it gets chopped off instantaneously.
Instantly. Literally, like within 2 seconds of him being there, it's gone.
Yeah. Did the devil sound like one of the Power Rangers guy to you? I don't remember what his name was. The meat suit guy with the lightning bolt.
Yeah, Lord
crown
Zed.
Thing. What was his name?
Lord Zed.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Did it sound similar to you? That's the only thing that I could think of. But
yeah, he the voice of that guy is Frank Welker, and I think he's done voices for the Transformers series too. So that might be
for Megatron or something.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, basically, so Spawn, as he realizes randomly throughout the movie, has all these powers. His cape can at one point he was trying to we glossed over the fact that Spawn gets his suit grows or something, and his one goal is to go and kill his former boss that set him up and killed him, right?
Yeah.
And so the boss is at this gala thing. He breaks in.
Oh yeah.
He gets right in front of his boss and has him dead to rights, and he says, "I came back from hell to kill you. That's the only thing I'm doing here." And he kind of punches him or something. He could have killed him immediately. He kind of punches him or something, and then he escapes, right? But then all of the rest of the agents from that agency show up and are gonna try to kill Spawn or something. And his method of escaping is, at some point he just falls out a window 500 stories up, and then his suit catches him.
Yep.
And then his suit cloaks him. He's kind of inching across on this ledge thing, and his cape comes around and cloaks him, and then so it looks
like part of the building,
part of the wall. Spenny, what would you do if no one could see you and you were trying to run away? What would you do then? Would you continue to run away, maybe?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what happens is he stands up against
lost
the wall.
him.
They lost him.
He goes back towards the light. He literally goes back towards where the police lights are.
Yeah.
Like they're scanning across. He's gone. And then he's like, you know what? I'm going to go to the light.
Yeah. You know what? I'm going to deactivate my cloak thing and then just be exactly where I was, where they're still looking. So the whole point is his suit can do all this stuff that he has no idea how to use until he does the one bottle throw gym session with the guy.
Yeah.
But then he goes to hell, shoots out an ectoplasm ray, kills half of the devil's army instantaneously, then transcends hell itself. And then, but still takes punches or something. I don't know. It's just so stupid.
Yeah, it is. No, it really is. I mean, and can we just move to the last part and get over with this?
Yeah.
Because, it took forever for him to finally use his weapons, and that was really cool. It wipes out all those people. And then there's that random street kid that just shows up magically.
That's my last note, actually.
Dog.
Yeah. My last note is about that kid. Yeah.
And then right after that, the violator somehow comes out of, like, cloaked from the wall and comes out and tries to eat Spawn, and Spawn all of a sudden just turns into his chains turn into a chainsaw and cut his head off.
Yeah.
And then it's just like, okay, that's it.
My note about that kid. So that, he has this kid that kind of befriended him, because he wakes up in the slums. Yeah. And the slums are, I guess, so bad that this devil from hell wakes up and stumbles around these slums, and they're just like, I guess it's Tuesday.
Yeah.
It doesn't faze them at all, right?
Not at all.
And then this kid is the only person that's nice to him in the whole movie, saves his dog. The dog, by the way, in one of the opening scenes, when Simmons is still Simmons, right?
Spaz.
Yeah. The wife leaves the garage door open, and then Spaz is just chilling, this little terrier or something, comes out to see Simmons to say goodbye. And Simmons says, "Yo, peace out, right? I'll see you later." And they just leave the garage door open and the dog just chilling by itself
in the front
outside.
Yard.
That to me drove me nuts because, as I've said before, I'm crazy OCD about that kind of stuff to the point where it impacts my life. And it's just, I don't know, but whatever. The thing is, this kid kind of, I don't know, saves the day somehow or something. I don't know. He doesn't really do much, but basically the devil's plan is averted, and through some part with that kid's help somehow, saves the planet, right? Tangentially. And then it's just back to the slums for that kid. Just back to the dumpsters.
Dad got beat up, had to go to the hospital. Won't be able to afford his medical bills because he lives in the slums. And
was that Joe Rogan? I didn't look at the credits, but it looked like Joe Rogan.
No, that wasn't Joe Rogan. No way, man.
No way. Should we put a little wager on this? Whatever. I'm not going to look it up.
Yeah, you're not going to look it up.
I'm not.
Do you remember what the guy's name was? Do you even know? Zach's dad. His name was Michael Papajohn.
Okay. Well, is there an image of him?
Yeah.
Does it look like Joe Rogan with hair?
Not at all. No. He looks like some Italian guy.
Okay.
Good for you, though. One little thing. So Michael J. White became the main character in this, obviously. These are the people they asked originally to consider for the role of Spawn. Wesley Snipes, Cuba Gooding Jr., Snoop Dogg, Tony Todd, Alan Payne, Denzel Washington, Samuel L. Jackson, Ving Rhames, Tupac, LL Cool J, and Will Smith. They all turned it down or didn't take it. And
thinking for Wesley Snipes' sake,
he did Blade.
Pretty good that he did not do this role, because that would have probably not let him do Blade.
Yep. Is this a ghetto Blade? I guess it is.
It's kind of a ghetto Blade, right?
Yeah. It is now, yeah.
Yeah. So let's give this turd a rating.
Yeah.
This is the Ascension to 10 podcast. We do rate movies on an 11-point scale. Ascension being the worst thing ever made to 10. What you got, Spenny?
That's right. This is an Ascension for me. This movie became just so unwatchable. It was so cool as a kid, but man, this movie was so awful that I think the visual effects really took away from this film. Like, if they could have done more character development on this one, I think it would have been a lot better. And I really like this little quote I got from Michael J. Wright, and he said, "There is no footage of me ever saying I like Spawn. I never said that I thought it was a good movie."
Oh man, that's pretty telling. Yeah, this is an easy Ascension.
Yeah,
easy Ascension. The thing was, this came out. I assumed this was rated R, because I wasn't allowed to see it as a kid, and so I didn't see it until. To be honest, I'm not sure I ever really saw it. I may have
trailer.
I saw it on snippets on TBS or something at some point.
Yeah,
and so towards the end, when it got to the parts where I hadn't seen before, I was like, what? This can't be. I couldn't have thought it looked so cool as a kid to have it turn out to be this bad.
That was it was like this has been one of those movies that's probably been the most disappointing. Obviously Kroll. I remember being really cool as a kid.
Yeah.
But that was at least entertaining. This was just.
And you have to, we're not talking about, we didn't think it was cool as kids because it was the spawn of the devil, right? That had nothing to do with it. It's the motorcycle, right? It
was the motorcycle
and the cape thing, right? It wasn't about good or evil, right? It was.
I just felt like I remember more like action of him putting the face coming on and him spending more time with that on, with his eyes. He has green eyes that glow, and that cape and stuff. And I mean, he only does it for like 3 minutes or something. Yeah. Like
it's incredibly stupid. I mean, and we're not comic book people, right? It's not possible for me to care less about the character Spawn, right? So if Spawn is this cool comic book character, that's completely irrelevant, right? Because this movie is so stupid.
Well, that's the other thing. So this Todd McFarlane, he helped create Venom, and if you've seen the Venom movies, those are actually, I mean, they're great. So I think there is a piece of, I think that's why trying to get this reboot to do it justice, because it just was not done in a good way. So we'll have to see if it does actually come out. Maybe we'll go review it.
We could do a live
and give it an update.
Yeah,
live
we could do for Top Gun Maverick.
Yeah, definitely.
All right. Okay. Well,
what do we got?
So should I queue up the next one?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm going back to my list from several episodes ago where I gave you the options. Do you want to play that game again, or do you want me to pick one?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay,
love it.
So
then it's all on me.
Yeah, that's all you. So this was from the Beyond White Space episode, and as a reminder, I gave Spenny 4 options to choose from based off of what I thought were the highlights of the trailer voiceover. Okay.
Yeah.
So here's what remains. It begins where imagination ends. From a distant galaxy, they have come to Earth. Live the adventure. If you can't stand the heat, get out of the universe. So those are your 3 options. These are all from different decades, too.
If you can't stand the heat, get out of the universe.
If you can't stand the heat, get out of the universe. This is from a movie called Supernova. And it's from 2000. So we're sticking in this 2000 era.
Supernova.
Okay,
cool. Look forward to it.
That's what it is. I believe it's on HBO because that's where I saw the trailer.
Okay.
So
cool.
If you've seen it, maybe you could write to us and then we could read out your little review. Well, I don't know if that would actually work because we're probably going to record this before it comes out.
Yeah.
Before this comes out.
Right.
Or not, actually.
I know.
But no. If you want to reach out to us, we will take any form of listener interaction. Bois@ascension10.com.
Yep. And you can find us on socials at Ascension2TEN on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and we have a YouTube now that is Ascension210 podcast.
Yep. Yeah. Check us out. Links as always in the description.
Yep.
And yeah.
Thanks for listening, everybody.
Thanks for listening.
Bye.
See ya.